There was a game show on in the 70s that called Name That Tune. Do you guys ever remember it? And it's almost like you have to name the person that sang it, the song, and the writer under a certain amount of tunes, like 6 or 7 tunes. So let's do that. So I'm going to play a tune for you guys. You tell me the writer, you tell me the singer, and you tell me what the name is. There's no way of doing it. If you can hear it, just yell it. Okay? So let's see if it works. Oh, wow, you guys are quick. You guys know it? Okay, now, okay, so now, good. At least you guys know. So Jennifer's looking at me and I'm going to tune it down. She goes, I'm running a media shout. So, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking at her and go, well, she's not controlling the sound. So let me tell you, in 2009, when Michael Jackson died, I was in Portersville, Pennsylvania, in the basement of my wife's uncle's house when I found out that he passed away in 2009. And I was going, my goodness. And then, therefore, I realized Randall has the same fanatic love for Michael Jackson I did in 2009. So we went and saw This Is It. It was a documentary. Do you remember the documentary that came out in 2009 at the end of October? And I was so excited to go with Randall because it's just when you're enthusiastic, I'm going with him. And we cried, both of us cried, but we didn't look like we were crying. We were just like, since the beginning of it, And so 19 years later, I found out the movie Michael was coming out. And I have to go see it with Randall. So I called Randall and I said, Randall, let's go. Now, 19 years, our bodies have not been the same. And so, combined, we don't even have one good body together because I just had surgery on the 22nd. The movie was coming out the 25th, and I was thinking, I need to postpone my surgery so I can see the debut of the Michael Jackson movie. So Randall came and picked me up. Do you have a picture of him? He picked me up. And man, when the credits started, we started crying. And we stayed all the way to the end of the credits. Because I heard there was a surprise at the end. There ain't no surprise at the end of the credits, but they want you to stay at the credits. So then Jessica and my wife and I went to the movie a week later. And I don't know if you've ever been to the movies with Jessica. Man, she can move in a chair. I mean, she just moves. And then I've known Jessica for 18 years. Jessica goes, I met Michael. I bumped into Michael Jackson once. I go, are you serious? Why didn't you tell me this? She was in the dentist's office, and Michael was coming in, holding his child, and she was flabbergasted. She couldn't say anything. And then the security whipped him off to the back room. I go, man, I got a friend that knows Michael Jackson, not know him, but saw Michael Jackson. And so on the way back, I don't know, remember Jessica? Jennifer's in the front seat. Jessica is in the back seat. We're driving home. We're all excited. And then Jessica throws out, this is what she said. No, this is what you said, Jessica. She goes, I hear you're cheating on me. That's what she said. I hear you're cheating on me in front of my wife. And it said, with Fred. And I go, with Fred? And then my wife's playing cool. I go, what do you mean with Fred? She said that I hear from somebody in the church that you were washing cars with Fred. I thought that was our thing, she said. Because Jessica and I have been washing cars for 15 years. And I go, and then Jennifer defends me, thank God, and says the reason why he's spending time with Fred is because he just bought a Tesla and he loves Teslas. And so then Leo and Jamie called me and said, let's go to the movies. Let's go to the Michael Jackson movie last night. So I go, let's go for it. Because I mean, I cannot.
Wait for it.
Yeah. So then I said, so we go into the 6 o'clock showing. And then Mr. Leo says, hey, I'm an AMC member and I can get discounts, all this stuff. And then basically, oh, I got $8.75 for my birthday. But I'm not going to share that. So you can Venmo me. So we had to pay full price for both tickets. And then Leo gets a free ticket. So then Leo buys tickets. So right at the beginning of this movie, we see the credits starting, and then all of a sudden he booked 3 seats. 1 is actual seat, the 2 are wheelchair accessible with no seat at all.
Who told me?
And so I go, are you serious? Now we have nowhere to sit, and Jamie's like almost in tears because she's going, I want to see this movie. And I go, well, so we can't go see it. So we had to leave the theater.
It was sold out.
It was sold out. Right? No, this is true. And so I'm going, okay.
More often than not.
So anyway, so hopefully we can see it 3 times. But the thing is, what gets me is this. When we listen to Michael Jackson's song, it made me think of stuff. Because if you notice the beginning of that movie, Michael Jackson, when he was young, the producer would tell him, can you stand still and stand in front of the mic? And then when the music started, he had a rhythm that he could not help. And he kept moving. And it just reminded me, because sometimes life has a rhythm already, playing underneath everything else. And we don't always notice that at first, do we? And that part is what Jesus is pointing out, what he talks about the Spirit of God in us. And that's what we're going to explore this morning, based on the gospel reading in John chapter 14. Now, I don't know if you've ever been awake, but not fully awake. Have you ever done that? Especially when driving, because sometimes, I don't know about you, but you're awake and you're going, why am I in the left lane? I need to be going that way. But somehow out of habit, you go, you're heading to work and you're on Saturday or something like that. And so this is what I'm learning, moving through the day, getting things done, but feeling like whatever's going on inside, you're a step behind everyone else. Faith feels like that as well. So being present, not fully alert to what is already here. So in today's gospel, Jesus speaks to his friends because he knows everything is about to change in the gospel. He knows that they will feel unsettled, so he gives them a promise. I want you to follow me. This is Jesus' promise to his disciples. He said he will not leave them. He says the Spirit will be with them and in them. Even though Jesus is leaving them physically, he is actually moving closer. So when he says, I'm promising you the Holy Spirit, that means Jesus within us. Not part of us, but in us. And that raises a question. What if God's already present in our lives in a deeper way than we often notice? What if part of our spiritual life is learning to wake up to what is already true? That all of a sudden we need to be aware of his presence. It's interesting that we ask, Lord, can we feel your presence? He's already there. You and I just need to be aware of it. The human heart gives us a simple picture of this. Now, obviously, in my first sermon back, because after heart surgery, I'm going to use heart analogies. Are you okay with it? And the thing is, what's interesting, there's 4 valves in the heart that none of them I can pronounce correctly. So I'm going to put them on the screen, okay? And then, so follow me. The heart is always in motion. Blood comes in, moves through, and goes out again. Small valves guide us through movement so that our lifeblood can keep flowing. And when even one valve, like mine, was restricted, the whole body is going to feel it. So the image can help us think about the life of the Spirit. One way that holds this image are the 4 simple words. I put them on the screen. In, out, within, and through. That's how our hearts work. These are not steps to complete. They are more like rhythms that are already at work within us. The first word is this. I want you to I think it's called tricuspid valve. Okay, well, it was kind of close. Okay, what did you say it was? Tricuspid. Okay, valve. Phil, my wife's cousins are here, and you're laughing at me. Yeah, thank you. Okay. But this valve is where the blood enters the heart. It happens so blood can actually come into your heart. Jesus says this, the Spirit is the Spirit of truth, and that the Spirit will be in us. Before anything flows out of our lives, something has to be received. There's a quiet invitation here to notice what God is already speaking, already offering, already placing in us. Sometimes the question is not whether God is speaking or whether we have slowed enough to actually listen to God. That's why the scripture says, and I love the scripture, it drives me nuts though, be still and what? Know that I am God. Do you see? And that's vitally important for us. And so sometimes the question is not whether God is speaking. Again, we have to take a moment to say, you know what? I just need to listen. The next one, valve, is this one, which I call out. The pulmonary valve. Say it again. Pulmonary valve. Thank goodness I'm not a doctor. You know that? They go, what valve? What are you talking about? This valve allows blood to move out to the lungs so it can be purified and renewed with fresh oxygen. There are times that in the last couple of weeks, I would all of a sudden take these huge deep breaths. And I'm going, and it was not voluntarily, it's just like this. And the thing is, what it is giving oxygen because the blood is flowing out of me so much now that my lungs have to work and keep up with this to purify the blood that's coming out. And so Jesus connects love and trust and action when he says, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you love me, keep my commandments. Love is not only something we hold, it's become something we release. This is where control often shows up. We hold tightly to what feels safe and familiar. Yes, love also moves in another direction. It loosens our grips so we can follow the life God is leading us into. Then we have what's called this valve. The mic? Good for you. See, I know how to pronounce this. I'm just trying to get you. This valve helps us regulate the flow inside the heart itself. This represents how our inner life is formed. Jesus says, I will not leave you as orphans. That is a strong image of belonging. It speaks to a place inside where we feel abandoned, alone, and guarded. The Spirit does not rush past those places. The Spirit stays with us there. There's healing that happens slowly, quietly, in the hidden places of our heart. What is not healed inside tends to limit what we can move through us, what can move through us. See, the thing is, you and I cannot heal ourselves. We just put ourselves in place to be healed. One thing that Jennifer major complaint is I don't know how to slow down, even after surgery. And she even told me, you can't drive. You cannot drive until Monday. And I go, well, my car's self-driving. I can do it. And she goes, no, you can't do it. And so my wife checked my location of where my car is. Thank God it was in the garage. And so there's part of me that when I slow down, that's where healing begins, right? And so there's no way that I can do what I was doing unless my body, my soul, my spirit needs to be healed. And so sometimes we have to slow down in order for God to manifest in our lives and to help healing. I'm talking about emotional healing. I'm talking about a lot of different types of healing. And the last movement is what we call through. And this is a valve that they had to replace. Because the valve, that valve, yeah. I was born with a bicusp. You guys are lucky to have tricusp. And so I had a bicusp because I'm one of the 1% that's been born with this bicusp. I'm always in the 1%. 1% with the tremors and the learning disability, 1% with the bicusp. I'm never 1% of the richest people in the world. Right? So I go, oh, wow, I've 1% of the population has this. So the calphus is, honey? Calcification. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to my wife. It built up and it made it hard. It made it hard. So it was difficult. So my heart had to pump harder and harder and harder to do this. And what's interesting, I was asymptomatic. I didn't have any symptoms whatsoever. Until they looked what was inside, just like us spiritually. They said, you can die if we don't fix this. That's a motivation, isn't it? So sometimes we don't die physically, but spiritually, or something where we're just going through the motions, but we're dead inside. And so this is where life is so vitally important, our spiritual lives, our physical life, and stuff, that God can look within ourselves and say, this is an area that I need to work on within you. And so this is where this valve sends blood to the rest of the body. And so, therefore, when they said you recover, they said, you know, your body is so used to this amount of blood, but man, it's going to be full flow now. And so your body has to adjust to what it was or what it should be until what you were living with. And so Jesus speaks about being revealed of love, becoming visible. The life of the Spirit is not meant to stop with us. It moves outward into the body of the world around us. What God places in us is meant to become something shared, something lived, and something offered. So these four movements of our heart belong together. In, out, within, through. Like the rhythm beating heart, the Spirit keeps forming us over time to be more like Christ, where there's a rhythm that starts to kick in. Now I've been thinking about this on my own life. There are times where I feel stuck. It's harder to show up with patience and kindness. It's harder to be giving when I'm stuck in this momentum of self-centeredness. And I can usually trace it back to something inside of myself that's blocking the flow of God's Spirit within myself. And say, you know, it's interesting, because I keep saying this in my life, what's a perfect day for you? The perfect day for me is if God can stop the rotation of the earth for 24 hours and everyone freezes, and I can have a people-free day, perfect. I would be in heaven. It's not going to happen. But the thing is, what's going to happen when I have control is allowing the Spirit to flow in me. So when I do bump into situations I'm not liking, that His Spirit can flow out of me because His Spirit is flowing in me. And it's going in and out. The call is to wake up the Spirit. God is already present. God is already near. God is already at work. We just need to become aware of it. So last point, this is where you guys wake up and then I go 20 minutes longer. No. Let the Spirit in. Let the Spirit go. Let the Spirit heal. Let the Spirit flow. It's simple. It's just hard. May God bless you and may God bless His word.